Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Featuring myself, Ramani Jackson, and my co-host Alex. Alex, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm great. Just got done doing a sports marketing workshop today with the Phoenix Suns, so I'm jazzed. Got great energy. We got two great guests with us. Our men straight from the B Squared podcast. We got my boy Alex, my boy Kent. Alex, this is your first time. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. Kent, people are getting tired of you. We're gonna have to cut you off, man. This is your third time. That's your max, okay?
I'm done for How you guys doing?
Welcome. We're glad to have you guys here, man. We really appreciate it, especially with what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to dive into a little bit of NBA, but we all know right now is March, and March is not a time for NBA talk. March is a time for NCAA basketball talk, and we've got a lot to cover, from injuries in the NBA to teams that have overperformed, teams that have underperformed. I think we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about how we feel the NCAA has failed its players and failed everyone that's involved around, especially with the shenanigans that they pulled with the women's sports and their equipment. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now because it's going to be a whole nother topic, and we're gonna crucify the NCAA. Trust me. But starting off, I know I've got at least two Laker fans in here right now. I'm not sure if you're a Laker fan as well, Alex. We'll talk about that later. If it is, that's too many of you guys. But how as that Armani and Kent, how do you guys feel going forward into the current NBA Western Conference playoff bracket, missing your two best players? How do you guys feel about your what you guys are going to be able to pull off, and where do you think you'll see yourself when your two players get back?
Ken, you want to start, bro? Go ahead. I'll go after you.
This is not my favorite topic to talk about.
No, I'm already sick. I already thinking about it.
Yeah, me and Armani talked about this. When AD first went down, Armani just texted me. He's like, bro, I don't even know what to say. Like, it was just, we knew it was going to be tough. But LeBron is LeBron. So we were okay. We're playing well. We were 6-5, 6-6 without AD.
Right.
And then LeBron James, the best player in the league, Iron Man type player. He plays, whether he's got little injuries here and there. He has a high ankle sprain. That was a bad injury, and we've now lost 3 in a row. We're 5-5 over our last 10, and we were once the number 1 team in the West, or like 20 games in. Then we were number 2 once Utah won all those games. So we're like, okay, we're number 2, and now we're down to 4 below the Clippers, and the Nuggets are a game and a half behind us, and I totally see them passing us in the next week. Because I think as long as LeBron James is out, we can't win games.
No, we have no playmaking coming out. Nothing.
Like who is the guy? Is it Schroeder? Is it Montrezl Harrell? Neither of those guys are anything super special. I like Montrezl; he's great, but he's in trade talks too right now. So I'm as a Lakers fan, I'm kind of I don't want to say like punting on this season in football terms, but this year might be rough.
Might not be your year. It's not.
Yeah, we won one last year, but that's the nicest way I can put it without getting a little too frustrated at the beginning of this podcast.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. You guys got it done last year. There's nothing wrong with this not being your year. I still think that with the two people that you guys have, and with the playoffs being an entire different season than regular season, I think that. Okay, I'm gonna just be frank. If you guys are not a top 4 team when it come playoff time and you are in the playoffs, you guys are gonna rock somebody's world first round, bro. Nobody's gonna want to see LeBron and AD coming back as a 6 seed in the playoffs, bro. I don't want to see that first round, bro.
And rested too, like healthy.
That's the problem.
That is scary to think about, because all you gotta do is be one of the top 8 to make it. And even if you guys slip down to 9, that playing game is guaranteed. There's no way y'all lose a playing game. Like, there's no way.
No, I'm not. And the thing about it is you can't count LeBron out either, bro. And I think that's the thing we always talk about is the impact. Me and Alex talked about it last week. We were talking about just the impact that LeBron has on a game, bro. It's stupid, crazy, and ridiculous to think about. But it just shows greatness. And that's the thing I always see out of it, too, is that it takes a great player to, impact the team, impact the culture like LeBron has done. But then too, like you said, it's your top two guys, and so the problem and the concern mainly dries upon who's going to step it up now. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we're in the West, and obviously we know how jam packed it is up there. You got Utah, Phoenix, the Clippers, Portland, Denver, whoever. But at the same time, though, this should be a moment. And I always talk about this, and I always bring this up. Guys like Kuzma, Tucker, and I mean KCP, whoever may be so. And we're not depending on these guys to solely do everything that they can do in their power, but you got to step up and show something. You know what I'm saying? You need to show me at least why you're getting paid. Why you're getting paid. Kyle Kuzma got the extension for $40 million. It's like, dude, like, are you gonna fucking make a bucket or what? Like, are you gonna consistently be able to knock down 50% of your shots or what? You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing about it though too is that if we can get into the buyout market, I think, which we probably will, or maybe even the trade possibly, we can, alleviate that balance a little bit. And the thing about it, you don't want to rush into them back and then, oh, we're dropping. I have the ultimate capacity and faith that if they come back healthy, fully healthy, we'll be fine for a playoff run. But it's just going to be them getting back into shape and getting back into motion of how they played. So I think we'll be fine, bro. I mean, it's something to really be fearful of, though, because like we saw, the further you sink down, the further your competition, your challenge is going to be to try to rise back up to get back into rhythm. And so, but I trust in Vogel enough to the capacity where defense will be our focal point to getting us to wins. But it's just going to have to be relied upon who's going to be the guy to step it up. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, Weezy?
Oh, basketball. You guys got me here. I don't know. I think they definitely are going to need LeBron back. I don't think even an AD back is going to be enough if he does come back.
Right.
But I think they're going to make a splash at the trade deadline. I saw some rumblings around that they're working on a trade possibly with Charlotte for Rozier, Malik Monk, Bismack Biyombo. I can't say his name.
Oh yeah, Bismack, yeah, Biyombo, yeah. That would be the dude. That would be
and then they'd be giving up KCP, Montrez. There's one other name in there, plus a 2023 second round.
Was it THT possibly?
No, it was some nobody.
No, keep him. Yeah,
it was probably a 14th man. But I think they really gotta rely on making a splash at the deadline. I think that's their only way right now. I mean, I just personally think, with LeBron and AD hurt, even if they come back, they're going to be rusty. I mean, I know LeBron's the best at coming back and being clutch, but I don't see it without adding someone else at the deadline.
Yeah, and the thing we're going to see, too, is that the teams in the Western Conference are going to try to rely heavily on trying to, get higher up in the ranking. We're going to see a lot more competitive games, I feel like, in the Western Conference. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's so crazy to think about, like, if Goliath goes down, bro, like, you're going to really try to climb up higher and higher each second that you can, bro. Like, you have to take advantage of, like, those teams, like the Portlands and Denvers. Like, they're going to have to try to climb their way up if they want to really get in further and secure their spot. I mean, New Orleans is a good team, too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they lack sometimes when finishing games. And that's always been their problem and their concern. But if they want to continue to fight and push in for the playoffs, like, this is the perfect and greatest moment and chance that you have to try to get in right now. So, it's going to be really competitive to see, bro. Another guy, too, you guys, what you guys think about with Kevin Durant? Like, how long and his injury? What do you think, AC?
I think the Nets are just taking the approach of, I got all the toys I need. I don't need to play with this toy right now,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has been out. I feel like it's got to be at least coming on like 20 games at this point. Like, he's been out for a minute, pre-All-Star, all that. It's supposed to be just a hamstring injury. At this point, if I'm being honest with you, I don't know if I'm buying the hamstring injury anymore, or the severity as to what they told us when we first came out, because injuries usually don't take this long for you to get back to the court. You know what I'm saying? Back to get in gameplay. So I think that they're rich, man. They have James Harden and Kyrie Irving. If Kevin Durant isn't 100% and is 85, is 90%, and you're going to take another week, another 2 weeks to get in there, you have literally nothing to lose. You're not losing games. It'd be different if you were losing games and you needed to get your star back. You're winning games. You're in a better position than you were when he left. I don't even think you were the number 2 seed when Kevin Durant got hurt. You're a number 2 seed now. Like, so and that's the thing with when you have a team that has such depth as far as extreme talent, that they can afford to lose a guy like that
Right.
And it's not be that big a deal. We're talking about, the Lakers and Lakers right now, they lost their two dudes. They lost when they lost AD and they just had LeBron. You already saw immediate impact. The team was no longer the same.
Yeah, it sunk down pretty bad.
It's like, I don't even know who's on the court. I don't know what system you're running. I don't know who's supposed to give me 25 points a night because the team's lost their identity. They don't have a third guy that's supposed to be that guy. No team really does. I guess Philadelphia, you can make a case because they got Tobias Harris. Yeah. And that's probably another team that has a third kind of guy that is like that. But for the most teams, you don't have number one go down and you can just rock out with number two, number three, and be a title contender and be blowing people out by 20 every game like it's light. So KD is just, I really would like him to return to the court, honestly, because I feel like KD low-key could make the MVP argument, and win an MVP again this year.
Stupid great, bro.
But obviously, you need to be on the court to win MVP, bro. You don't win MVP by sitting out games, The same thing they were talking about LaMelo. Can LaMelo win Rookie of the Year this year, even though he's only played 57% of the games, which would be the lowest.
Barely started a few, yeah.
If you ask me, the resume not big enough, man. You didn't play enough games, and you're not that much greater than everybody else. Like if you were miles and leaps abound, no disrespect, no one's better, but Anthony Edwards can play. That man's a baller. So
Anthony Edwards has been hooping, bro. He's been killing.
Injuries are things that I feel like nowadays in the NBA you kind of have to play. You kind of have to play a little bit of a politic game. It's not just about basketball. It's not just about the win share. It's especially for a team like that. The Brooklyn Nets don't care about the regular season. Like there's nothing to care about. That's not what the team was put together for. The regular season is literally just so you can get to the playoffs. If Brooklyn could skip the regular season and go to the playoffs, that's what they would do. Because that's what they were built for. They're not no one cares if they win 70, 60 games, like that's cool and all.
Right.
But the team is built to win a championship now. And they need,
their window is basically a 1 or 2 year
window. The window is now in the next, I think, 3 years. I think they're all signed the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's their window. And if I'm them, I don't want KD going out in the finals like he did with Golden State. So if KD needs some time, take time, bro. Take time.
Yeah, for sure, Brett, man. And that's the thing too, is like I feel like the thing that messed him up too, and I mean they might not accept it or think about it like that, but I feel like Golden State tried to rush him back. And I mean, we looked at that finals when he played against the Raptors, and we looked like, oh damn, Kevin Durant's healthy, he's doing good. But the thing that bared him the most, and the crazy part about it was the same exact side that it happened on the injury. And it's like, okay, we can't sit here and say that was the reason that he got injured, but at the same time, it's the same thing that probably got reactivated, maybe even worse. We never know. And it's like the same thing with like, we look at LeBron and AD now, it's like, how rested are you as a player to come into the NBA finals? You just go off of a championship run and all of a sudden, boom, like, hey, let's go another season. Like, and it's no excuse. And I mean, we can sit here and say like, yeah, like the season started too fast or whatever. But still, like these guys haven't rested. And that's what I was telling Ken, and Ken be telling me the same thing all the time. I'm like, yeah, like we kind of rushed into the season, and training camp wasn't the same training camp because we had COVID restrictions and protocols, and then guys aren't able to fully work out because of the restrictions and protocols that they're set in line. But at the same time, so you get into this lux now. It's like eventually these guys are going to get burnt out to the point where they're not going to be producing as much, or they might not produce as much, but they're not going to be fully healthy every single day. Guys are going to have to sit. And then now the problem is, okay, if you sit a marquee game, you're going to get fined because the whole Kawhi effect, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of it's a juxtaposition thing that you got to kind of juggle with every single time. But now we see the top two guys, like some of the top 5 players in the league are out. And it's not just them because, I mean, Giannis is banged up right now. KD's banged up. LeBron, AD. Like, we see it all the time now all of a sudden. And it's like, what's going on?
Yep.
But it's a terrible thing, and I mean I can't blame Silver because I mean the league did have to make money in order to continue the season on and stuff like that, but it just created a growing problem to me, and I don't know, I just really don't like it at all. Yeah,
I feel like Embiid is hurt right now too. He's gonna be out for, and it's like you look at the guys who played in the playoffs, and a lot of them are now having injury problems. And I'm not going to say it's directly because it was the shortest offseason in professional sports history. I'm not going to say that. But I think it's strange that there's a correlation to go with it because you look at baseball. Baseball finished on time the way it was supposed to. They had their normal offseason and they're doing their normal spring training, right? It was a regular finish, a regular offseason, and a regular ramp up. Basketball is like, all right, we're in the middle of our season. It's a break. Now we got this whole amount of time, and then we're going to finish the season and then come back. And what you're feeling is, and I'm not saying that obviously KD's injury is not necessarily because of the NBA season starting again, but it has to do with the idea that because the NBA shortened the regular season, we're almost at the playoffs now. I mean, we're about a month away-ish. I mean, and so when you're Brooklyn, you got Harden and Kyrie are 2 top 10 players. I'm not saying that KD's not necessarily hurt right now. I'm just saying that he's probably good enough to where if they were battling for like an 8 seed in a normal year, he'd probably play.
Right.
But I think they're just like, you know what? We're fine. We're the second team in the East. We're better than the Sixers. In my opinion, they're better than the Sixers.
And they're killing the Sixers. Those matchups are too fucking crazy, bro.
I mean,
they're way too crazy.
They would sweep the Sixers with KD. So they're really just resting the man so that when he comes back, he's Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Like he's not
like full form. Yeah, full form.
Sore man is just gonna play 40 minutes a game, all playoffs, and just they're gonna sweep everybody. That's kind of where I'm at. If especially if LeBron and AD are not healthy. So
yeah, it's gonna be a growing concern.